I've been asked several times, how long did it take for me to go from believing that my value as a person had to come from outside of myself to believing that I myself provide the worth? The truth is that process, for me personally, was pretty much instantaneous. The best way I can think to describe it is like an orphan who learns one day that he has parents out there. In other words, he didn't just spontaneously come into existence. He has parents out there somewhere. So when he learns it, hey Bobby, we found your parents. We know who your parents are now. When he learns that, somewhere in the back of his mind, this is something he always knew, but it wasn't until somebody tells him, hey, we found your parents, that the truth then is instantly recognizable. Of course I've got parents. Of course I didn't just spontaneously come into existence. That might not be the best illustration for what it was like for me, but it was something like that. I didn't realize till I was 35, 38, something like that. I did not realize how I viewed myself, that I viewed myself as worthless. That's why so often when I'm talking to the folks that I talk to in this work, it's not surprising to me that they themselves don't know. They will actually argue that they do not view themselves as worthless. But, it's the law of genuine attitude reflection that we've talked about in the past. It never lies. When a person loves themselves or views themselves as having inherent value, there's no other alternative except for that to be visible in the ways that they are living their life, the ways that they treat themselves, the ways that they behave. So lots of people say, no, I don't view myself as worthless. But the law of genuine attitude reflection doesn't lie. You can simply observe the way that they behave, the way they talk even is another big one. The way they treat themselves, the way they treat other people, the way they view and treat other people. These all are things, they're a perfect mirror reflecting one's attitude, whether conscious or unconscious attitude, toward themselves, whether they do view themselves as having inherent worth or not. So for most of my life, I lived with this attitude or this perspective that I have no worth, that I have no inherent value. Unknowingly, I was not consciously aware that was my true underlying attitude toward myself. So, when my eyes were open to the fact that is the way I viewed myself, it was a huge shock and revelation for me, an epiphany. It was enormous. It was life-changing. And I'll tell you the truth, that in that moment, in that instant, when my eyes opened up and I saw that I did not view myself as possessing inherent value, at that instant moment, I knew that it was a lie, that I had been living upon this lie and believing this lie deep, deep, deep down inside of myself for my entire life. It was instantaneous. Now, there were some other things that I had to work out. I had a lifetime of interacting with life and thinking about life one way, and it took some time for me with this new revelation with this new understanding, go out and allow it to encounter life. That wasn't instantaneous. I'm not saying that I was instantly cured. Of course I wasn't. You folks have all heard me talk about how it took about 7 years for me to work out all the details and all that stuff. But as far as the understanding that my worth is something inherent to me, that my existence provides it. It doesn't have to come from people liking me or the things I possess or my skills or anything like that. It's something that is inherent to me. When I was born into the world, I brought it into the world. The worth comes from me. I myself am the source of it. That shift was almost instantaneous.